So when I first heard about the Fuji XF, I was really excited because I love my Kodak film half-frame camera, but I don't love paying for the film and the processing fees of it. So I thought, a digital camera that does what a half-frame film camera does, this is perfect. But it wasn't what I expected. Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Zach. I'm a photographer and videographer, but more important than that, I'm a husband and a father. And this is Fujifilm's newest little camera, the X-Half. And this is a camera that is all about the experience. It is a camera that is meant to mimic the iconic half-frame film photos of older days, and it is a really fun camera to use. Now, here's the thing. Going into this review, I knew that this camera was not going to have the specs of my X-T30. It was not going to have all of the perks of a camera like that, but it was going to be a camera that is all about the experience. And it does a phenomenal job at recreating a emotional experience when you use this camera. Just happens that I couldn't get past that, but we'll talk about that. Now, before I get into the reasons why I don't love this camera, let me first tell you what I do love about it, and I think what are some of the fun ways that you can use this camera. So starting off with, like I said, this camera is all about the experience, and I think the designers did a phenomenal job of taking that into account when they put this camera together. This is a very small, very light, very pocketable camera. Compare it to my X-T30 and you can see a pretty massive size difference here in these cameras. This is much heavier, has a much more heft to it than this. This you throw on your lanyard strap and you throw it around your neck, and honestly, you truly forget that it's there. I know I've said that about this camera, but like, it's so light that you don't notice it. It truly is similar to something like my Kodak Ektar H35N. And I mean, you can actually throw this in the pocket. So how do they do this? Well, they started off with the small details. The very first thing that I noticed is when you pick up this camera and hold it, if you're holding it horizontally, it actually is shooting vertically. And if you look at the back of the screen, the screen is set up vertically. This is honestly really reminiscent of other half-frame cameras like this Kodak Ektar camera. If you look through it horizontally, you're shooting vertically. And the way that is because these are half-frame cameras. And so when you take a frame of film and you cut it in half, you no longer have a horizontal image, but you have two vertical images. So they really did that as a way to touch back to the original half-frame film cameras. But I think they also did it intentionally because they know most people are going to be taking these photos and posting them to social media on Instagram, and a lot of times we're posting in a vertical format. This camera also has some really fun tactile features to it. When you turn the camera on, this little film lever pops out, and this film lever can be used in two different ways. If you're in the film mode, you use it to advance your film to the next photo. If you are in the digital mode, you press it down and it will show you the last photo taken. There's also a place for you to add your own soft shutter. There's a compensation dial, and then there is a manual aperture dial up front. And I think all these little tactile things, they really remind you of shooting film. Like when I shoot on this, I take the photo and then I have to advance the roll with the little dial on the bottom. Same thing when I'm in film mode. I have to advance the roll with the lever, and that's fun to me. Now this camera also comes with 13 of Fujifilm's most popular film simulations. There are a ton in here like Astra, Velvia, Provia, and you just kind of swipe through to pick the one that you want. They also have a lot of fun filters that you can add to it, like film burn, double exposure, expired film, things like that, that just make the filming experience, the shooting experience, again, reminiscent of shooting in film, and giving you an experience out of it. And then the big thing, and this is what I truly love about this camera, is that it has a film mode. So you swipe down from the top and you put it into film camera mode. You pick the different film profile that you want, you pick how many photos you want to take, and then you start your program. And when you do, you can't look at your photos. After you take it, you just have to keep going to the next photo and the next photo until you have filled out the film roll. And then, even then, you can't just go to the play button and look back at all the photos. You have to send the photos to your phone through their app and develop them, and then you get to see them. In a very digital world, this makes you slow down. That's why I love taking this camera with us when we go on like vacation and things like that. It's an intentional slowing down, and it's an intentional building in of anticipation, because you have to send your photos off to get developed. The same is true with this. When you use that film mode, it is a process of slowing down. You can't just snap, snap, snap. You have to snap, give it a second, wind the film, snap again. And then you have to wait until your film roll is done. Now it is different. You get them back still pretty instantaneously. I think from taking the photos and finishing the roll to getting them developed, it could be like less than 5 minutes. Whereas sending these off, it's like 3 to 5 days. So there is a little bit of a difference there, but it's still a really fun experience. And I think that is what has made this camera such a joy to use. Now, the last thing I'll say that I love about this camera is just its physical aesthetic. It is a very beautiful and very well built camera. Yes, it feels a little cheap in the hands. It's plastic. It's not, you know, the heft and the weight of this guy, but it still looks really, really beautiful. This is very similar to this camera, and you can see like it lines up almost perfectly. But what I think is cool about this, and what I've enjoyed about it aesthetically, is that it is not considered a professional camera. So if I'm going to a sporting event or a concert, I can't take this camera with me. I've tried. It doesn't work. They don't let you because it has a detachable lens, and apparently that makes it a professional camera. Whatever. This camera, on the other hand, can slide in my pocket and no one thinks twice about it. It's just a pocketable, fun little camera. Honestly, most people probably thought it was a film camera when you look at it. And so, you know, I was able to take this with us to a Ben Rector concert and take some fun photos of my wife and friends, and it was a really cool experience using it. So I do like this camera. The problem is there are a few things that I just can't get past with it and make it something that I won't keep. And let me first say that I don't think I am this camera's target audience. I think this camera is built for people who want to have fun taking photos. They want the experience, but they want still that instantaneous access to those photos, and they're wanting them specifically for social media. They're wanting a more authentic look. They're not, you know, really caring about all of the specs and the high quality of some of the other cameras. They don't care if this has a lower megapixel or if the sensor size is smaller, things like that. They want the experience, and they want, you know, the ease of use. I personally am not that. I'm one of those guys that loves taking photos, editing my photos. You can't edit your photos in here. Everything's baked in. It's only JPEGs. I love getting my raw photos, putting on my filters, and doing the things that are fun about the editing side of things. And I like having that higher quality. So this camera just doesn't live up to my standard in quality and post-production. And so, you know, that kind of makes it hard for me. I'm one of those guys that I know I'm going to be taking photos throughout the year of my family. I'm going to be documenting family life. And I've, over the years, come to the decision that I want all my photos to have a similar look and similar feel. And so I use pretty much the same edit on all of my different photos. It changes slightly, but for the most part, it stays pretty consistent. This camera, it doesn't fit for that. And I do think that's one area where Fujifilm kind of missed it a little bit. Like, having 13 of their best simulations in here is awesome. But if I'm honest, I don't love any of their film simulations. I like them. There's some good ones in there. There's some ones that I absolutely do not love, like Sepia, but there are some nice ones. I just don't love any. I would prefer to have my edit put into it. And I think what is so great about Fujifilm cameras is they allow you to put in your own custom simulation. And so I'm like, Fujifilm, why didn't you do that with this? Like, give us one option to put in our own film simulation. I would love it so much more. And honestly, I'd almost keep it if it had that feature, but it doesn't. And so that kind of makes it hard for me because I'm like, it just doesn't look the way I want it to. I mean, like, even when I'm shooting on this, like, yes, obviously these photos have a different look than from my T30, but I love the film that I'm using on here, which is Kodak Gold. I get it. It's Kodak, it's Fujifilm. They're not going to have Kodak Gold. But the fact that you can't pick something similar to that is a bit of a bummer, in my opinion. Now, I think I could have gotten past those two things. I truly think I could have gotten past both of those things if this camera was properly priced, because it is horrifically overpriced. This camera comes in at $850, and I mean, when you pick it up, it does not feel like an $850 camera. When you use it, it does not feel like an $850 camera. I would expect this to be in the $400 to $500 range. But for me personally, I'm like, I think that's a little too much for a fun, easy family use camera. I definitely think that there are other cameras out there that you can get that are still really easy to use, really fun to use for that same price, and are gonna give you better quality, more features. They really went with selling the experience. And if they can sell that experience, awesome. But to me, I just can't get past that price. Even at $500, I don't know if I would buy this camera. If I see it around Marketplace or something like that for $200, $300, I'll probably pick it up. But other than that, it's not something that's going to be in my lineup, which is truly a bummer because I do enjoy the camera. Like, as much as there are things I don't like about it, it is a fun camera to use. The experience of it is enjoyable, but not for that price. So yeah, I mean, should you get the Fujifilm XF? I think it boils down to, do you care more about the experience of using it than the quality? Because if you're just about the experience, then, and you're willing to pay the $850, then go for it. If you're more like, yeah, I think the experience would be fun, but I want good quality, and I don't want to pay too much, this camera probably isn't for you, and that's totally okay. But I am sad to pack it up and send it back. I do think it was a fun camera to use, and I will miss it. But would it be my everyday family camera even if I had it? Probably not. I think I'd probably still stick with this guy. But this would be a fun thing to keep in the bag or keep at, you know, in the house and pull out on a little trip or stuff like that. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this answers some questions for you. If you did enjoy this video, please hit that like button. Let me know down below, is this a camera you would think about getting? What are your things that are important to you in a camera? I would love to hear it. I would love to discuss that with you. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.